Okay, so I thought I would come on and I want to add to it. I already did the sun sign, like what that means in my experience, and I figure I'll do one for the moon signs. Now, remember, like this is my opinion slash experience of it. There are lots of opinions and experiences of what each element of somebody's birth chart or even progress chart means. So, you know, don't stop here. Check in with others. Anyways, my experience of moon signs is that it's twofold. It's how you feel about things. Actually, it's threefold. It's how you feel about things. It's the side of you. It's part of the side of you that you generally only show to like best friends, like BFFs, and your intimate partners. Actually, it's funny. It's fourfold now I think about it. The other thing is, it is how you. It indicates your relationship with your mother, how it was when you were growing up, and how like you were. I don't want to say predestined to be treated by her, but just in some form or another, it indicates how your relationship was with your mother, and it's also your manifesting fuel, like your rocket fuel. And so I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to keep this short because my videos don't tend to load when I make them too long. And I'm going to do a couple of examples. If you want more personalized examples, please, send me a message. So, to start with, Aries moon, which I have an Aries moon. My walk side has an Aries moon. And ironically, I have a lot of friends, especially friends that I've known a long time, who also have Aries moons. Now, if we look at it from like an emotional sense, my emotions tend to be fiery. They tend to be impulsive, and they tend to be very passionate. That's very Aries, right? I'm just going to keep this as basic as I can. Now, in terms of like, that's not stuff that I typically show to just anyone. I try to practice more emotional authenticity, especially these days, around just about everybody. But being a Capricorn, I definitely contend with that energy of preferring to be more reserved. And so it's usually within my relationships that people tend to see that more fiery side of me. My walks beside, who is a Cancer sun, is typically the same. Like, he'd rather stay in his shell than show people that side of himself, because with an Aries moon, like, there are times that you're going to be fiery, you're going to snap back, you're going to say some shit that's hurtful, or you're going to feel hurt, or you're going to like feel one way in one moment and then feel an entirely different way in another moment. And unless you really feel like you can trust that somebody understands that about you and isn't going to like make war with you, because as an Aries moon sign, it can feel like you're going to make war with that. You don't typically want to show that to people. Like, you might let it out, like somebody that you've worked with for a while, they might see it a little bit more. And Aries moons in particular can have quite a kinky side too. So like, you might start there. You might be a little, be a little bit of a ram, be a little capricious, and be a little silly, and things like that. But you still kind of test the waters, because it's, you're not really sure how somebody's going to react. And like, Aries moons typically are, they're the ones you might see going through an anger management course or two. Not necessarily because they have a problem with anger, but because they have challenges with emotional impulsiveness, a little reactivity in there. And on the third fold of that, like I'm going to say my mom and I'm going to say his mom and my friends, like my best friends and stuff, who have Aries moons also, like, their moms and my mom were, like, emotions weren't really okay to be expressed. And so we never, like, growing up, we never really got we never really got help in developing an emotional maturity that helped us figure out, like, when is it okay to express anger? Like, what's the difference? I've been learning this one, like, what's the difference between, like, righteous anger that is necessary, that can help you, that can help another, that is, like, more helpful than hurtful, I'm going to say. And then what's the difference between that and anger that's just mean and vindictive and, like, not necessary at all? And those are things that, like, should have been learned in childhood, but we didn't get that. And especially because Aries is associated with the Emperor card, like, where emotionally we need to feel like we're the kings of our castles, the queens of our castles. You know, we need to feel like we have control over at least ourselves, if nothing else. And that's difficult to do when you have that in your moon sign, and it's even more difficult to do if your mother wasn't emotionally available to you, which I can say is another common theme among Aries moons, or they just simply you weren't allowed to be emotionally expressive, because as an Aries moon, your nature is to be emotionally expressive. Almost anyone with the moon sign in a fire sign is meant to have, you know, they're going to be expressive. It's fire, you know. And then on the fourth end, the fourth aspect of that, as the rocket fuel, like, I often talk about, and I'll do some videos about, like, your superpowers in manifestation are in your Venus and Mars and moon sign. Now, your Venus is what you can call towards you. Your Mars is what you can go out and attract easier. But your moon sign is your rocket fuel and your guidance towards what you're manifesting. And so, as an Aries moon, your rocket fuel, your fuel for manifesting is going to be in inspiration. Like, if you had, like, an earth sign, an earth sign in your moon sign, it would probably be more about, like, if you were grounded, you would be able to manifest better. But as an Aries moon, you actually are better able to manifest things if you go with your impulses. But you do have to have some discipline in there, or you're going to just, like, you can really manifest things when you're inspired, but are you going to manifest a whole bunch of messes, or are you going to manifest, you know, grounded things that stay consistent and feed your fiery need? That, like, you know, it's like building a bonfire. If you put wet wood in there, you're not going to keep the fire going for very long. Or if if the wood is too dry and you don't have enough, it'll burn out too quick, you know. I think actually I'm probably going to leave that mostly as that explainer. Let's see if I can do a couple of short ones, because I really want to keep this video under 10 minutes. So, like, let's say you have a Cancer moon, which both my sons do. Like, that is going to indicate that you're going to be more emotional when you're with somebody privately, and your thoughts are probably going to be more like deeper emotions, and you're going to kind of save that. You're not going to show that to a lot of people, and you're going to be very, like, crab-like. You're probably going to be indirect about how you feel about things, and also very empathic, and try to be indirect about how you tell other people that you know about their emotions. And as, like, I know, at least for example, like, how I am as a mom with them is I try to work very, very hard. Well, not very, very hard. I try to put an emphasis on helping them learn emotional maturity, because I didn't get that enough growing up, and I really value it. And I know, because I know astrology and I know their moon signs, I want to make sure that they feel comfortable in how they feel, and also that they know how to express themselves both directly and indirectly. It also indicates that they're, you know, they have strong connection to mother, which they do with me, and that it's funny because it also indicates that there's a lot to do with food, the kitchen, and the home, which we've had a lot to do with all of those things. And their rocket fuel is going to be based in their, you know, their manifestation fuel is going to be based in their ability to have that emotional discipline, because that's kind of the, as I explained in the life path video, that's kind of a theme for Cancers, is learning emotional channeling, emotional maturity, being put in a lot of situations that test them emotionally and challenge them to see the difference between like what emotions am I feeling and what emotions am I taking on from others, and what emotions are acceptable, which ones aren't, things like that. Sorry, I gotta pull my horsetail out. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there because this is a long enough video. Let me know if you'd like to hear about any of the other signs, or maybe I'll do a mini series on it. Either way, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you get a chance.